Okay, let's jump right into this explainer and unpack a highly effective, genuinely swift sequence that's designed to totally unlock tight hips and release a stiff lower back. Today, we're looking at a practice specifically crafted to target those exact areas where we hold the most physical and, honestly, emotional weight. So let me ask you, are you holding on to lower back and hip tension right now? Take a second and actually check in with your body. Many of us naturally carry our daily stress, our anxieties, and all those heavy burdens right in our lower body. It's kind of like a default setting for the human body, right? And that is exactly why this holistic sequence is just absolutely crucial for preventative care and getting some daily relief. And the sequence kicks off with this fantastic quote from our source instructor, Adrienne. "What's up, party people? I'm Adrienne, and this is Benji." I mean, how great is that? It immediately sets this welcoming, highly accessible tone. It reminds us that tending to our physical tension at home doesn't have to be intimidating or rigid or overly serious. It's just about showing up exactly as you are, kicking off your shoes, and getting to work on feeling better.
Number one, grounding your foundation. Because, well, you really can't release tension if you aren't physically anchored first.
There's a really deliberate three-step setup here that ensures your physical base is rock solid before you even attempt to unite your breath and body. You literally move the fleshy part of the buttocks out of the way to ground the sits bones, and you make sure your knees and ankles form two straight parallel lines. This creates stability for what the practice playfully calls your private little love cave, which is just a dedicated, super safe space for your mind and body to sync up.
Number two, seated spine releases. Once we're grounded, the practice shifts into finding length rather than forcing things.
A key movement here is Janu Sirsasana, and what's super interesting about this instruction is the sheer focus on full body awareness. You aren't just aggressively trying to force your head to your knee or get perfectly flat, no way. Instead, the priority is feeling that lengthy release in the lower back body. It's like a giant puzzle. You just let the pieces be where they are today without forcing them together. Notice how in these seated twists, the explicit goal is actually restraint. You're instructed to restrict the movement just to the side of the mat. So why does this matter? Well, because resisting the urge to crank the spine all the way back is what protects the lower back. You're creating stability to find length, actively drawing those thigh bones down, all while breathing deeply into the belly. It's a real game changer. Moving on to number three, deep hip openers. The overarching philosophy here is that the body acts as one moving part.
This integration is perfectly demonstrated in Baddha Konasana. Traditionally, you might see people with their heels zipped really tightly in toward their body. But consider the modification applied here, creating a loose, spacious diamond shape. By simply moving your feet further out, you give your hips and your lower back a whole lot more functional space to fold forward and release tension. No straining required.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the overall approach to forward folds in this practice. It is not about how the pose looks. It's not about straining your hamstrings to fold perfectly flat like a tight peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's entirely about how it feels. Literally just bending the knees allows you to integrate the whole body and connect with your breath rather than fighting against your own tight hamstrings.
To tackle those tight hips effectively, the sequence gives you dynamic choices. You can start with a supported froggy pose with your hands down and hips slightly lifted, and hey, maybe you just stay right there. Or you can progress all the way into a full low malasana yogi squat by dropping the heels back and widening the feet, if your body allows it, of course. This is a brilliant structural choice because it empowers you to act as the expert of your own body. The ultimate goal? Soft, easy movement without frustration.
Now, during the physical inversion that follows, there's a prompt for a conscious mental release. You have to, and I quote, choose to release something that maybe is just no longer needed. This hits the nail right on the head regarding a core theme. That heavy tension, the stress, the anxiety, that is exactly what we naturally store in the hips, neck, and shoulders. You have to actively choose to let it go. Number four, reclines, twists, and integration. This is where the sequence seamlessly drops our center of gravity to the floor. Pay close attention to this transition. Going down to the mat requires deliberate core stability. You take the deepest breath of your day, and as you exhale, you hug the navel into the spine before bringing your knees to your chest. Then you shift your hips and allow the legs to fall into an easy, unforced, reclined twist. It's a calculated, super safe descent. It is absolutely vital right here to listen to your body's feedback. You have two distinct paths. If you're experiencing current lower back pain or stress, you stick to a gentle stacked knee twist. But if your focus is preventative care, actually scratch that. Let's call it preventative maintenance. And you want a deeper stretch, you can try the Garudasana or eagle legs. It's all about choosing the tool that serves your body best in this exact moment. This floor section culminates with the happy baby pose. But look, it's not just about grabbing your feet and rolling around. The technical cue here is to actively reach your tailbone toward the front edge of the mat. By actively anchoring that tailbone down while kicking the feet up, you dynamically lift the lower back and neutralize the spine. It flushes out any of that residual tightness. Finally, number 5, final rest and reflection. This is where all that hard physical work finally settles in. The practice winds down with a simple but profoundly effective physical cue, placing your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly. Just doing this anchors your awareness. It allows the physical and mental nutrients of the whole shebang you just completed to truly settle in. You just feel the warmth of your own hands and the steady rhythm of your breath. Consider this incredibly powerful instruction from the source. Leave behind anything that's not working for you, not serving you. It'll evaporate and transform. You're being encouraged to conceptually leave whatever tension, stress, or frustration isn't serving you right there on the mat. Just let it evaporate. You do not have to carry it back into your day. And here is the so what, why letting go is so important. By consciously releasing that stored physical and emotional tightness, you aren't just getting flexible hamstrings. You actively create the internal, mental space necessary to plant new seeds, find new joy, and show up as your best self. You literally empty the cup so you can fill it with something so much better. So, as we wrap up this explainer on physical and mental release, I want to leave you with one final thought. Now that you've cleared all this space in your lower back, in your hips, what new seeds will you plant today? How are you going to utilize